Welcome back to episode 29 of Air Hauler 2. In this episode, we're going to start off handing out some flights to Daisy. We're going to get her loaded up in the cargo variant and see what we can do to try to push the money along. Considering the low dollar figure we're making off of all of those passenger runs, this seems like it would be our best approach. So first thing we need to do is get her assigned to the vehicle so we can assign an AI pilot to a job. So we just come over to this page and we can now add Daisy as a pilot to the cargo variant as well. Now when we come back in, we should be able to pick the job we want and assign it to an AI pilot. So in this case, we now have Daisy assigned to this first flight. So when we skip over and look at our accepted jobs, we can see our KNZY to KMAE. And we can go ahead and get going with the flight. And arrived. Quick unloading of the cargo, and now we have a successful flight, picking up some extra valuable points in raising our status. So as we can see, we've had some dips, we had some bumps, and we have moved better and further along the way. Always trying to compete and get ourselves better on the list, hoping that those other jobs will come along and give us the higher dollar value. So now that we've got her out at KMZ, let's go ahead and see what else we can find for Daisy to do. Now, this shouldn't be too hard, as it does allow us from KME to bring her back and get a job and move things on. However, one of the things to notice most is you're trying to be as efficient as possible. And this whole concept of running another operator is going to bite us eventually. A little bit of foreshadowing for what's going to come later. Arriving to pick up the load, you can see the cargo loading process takes a very long time, and it's something that you have to factor in. Now, we quickly jump in and have a look at all of the things that have been going on with our funds as well as our scoring. We can see the value of jobs completed. We can see all of the money going in and going out for all the individual jobs. And it's obvious that cargo is paying us much better than anything we can do with the passenger flights at the present time. And this is probably best to consider that because of this, we may want to go ahead and convert the second plane. Even though we just bought it and we just started some PAX routes, it's pretty apparent that we're not going to make much money off of those. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the easiest thing to do is set up a whole bunch of flights every day. But again, I'm not sure how Air Hauler 2 is going to deal with what I thought is pilot hours and how they shift those. And so I'm a little bit worried about trying to stack Daisy up for 5 days in a row. Not to mention making about $400 or $500 per flight. It's obvious that it would be better just to check in every few days and set up cargo routes. So with that, we are going to go ahead and wait for the current one to get going, as it was taking a while to load up a bunch of the cargo and create the positioning needed for the unit. So here, as we can see, it's on the way back. And unfortunately, we missed some of the information, but here's where we failed. So job failed. We lost the delivery on that one, and it was a bit of a heartbreaker. It was like, wait, what? How did we lose that? Didn't we just, she was on the way? So looking at the company info, we can see that we went negative on that job, and it is highlighted at the top that Daisy failed to complete the job and get it going. And when we look here, while it's still held, we can see that it missed by just a few minutes. So when she arrived about 8 minutes late, and so we lost that job. So it's something to keep in mind when you're looking at this, is the value of time that you can't account for, which is the cargo offloading, the cargo loading, and generally the amount of time that gets taken in doing those portions. At least when booking the PAX flight, we were able to see that it would stack up time to deal with passenger boarding and passenger offloading, and would build it into the schedule. When we're doing these cargo flights, it's hard for us to see that. And so it's kind of best that you get things arranged and give yourself a lot more headroom so that you don't run into that. That job was worth $8,500 or something. It was a good job, not to mention it was on the way back from a far out location. So let's get her going again. So we're going to get cargo loading up here in KNZY, and we're going to send her out on another run. So even sped up, we can see just how long the cargo unloading process takes. It really is a long time to get it off. But now that it's off, we get all that money for the shrimp so that we can start baking in and digging ourselves out of this hole. We also see in the ledger, you can see all of the fees that you're paying for fuel, landing fees, and items as such. So now that we've got Daisy out here, we're going to want to figure out what we're going to do with her next, while also figuring out what we need to be doing, because sitting back and letting this all take place while not flying that other plane is going to cost us money. So what we want to do is look at all the available routes and figure out the best way to make some money. That may also be taking product to a different location and then flying back. One of the things that we've learned so far is you can't do weird multi-stacks with a standard pilot. So with them, if you put them on a job that's going to require 2 load runs, you can't break them up partway through. However, being your own pilot, you are able to break things up and change or even double load, being able to assign multiple loads that can take you to the same destination. So here what we want to do is maximize the revenue with all the different locations and pick the best places for us to go and consider, while also being very careful about what we assign to Daisy so we don't end up getting ourselves in trouble again. And what we want to do is make sure that if we double stack, there's plenty of time. We've got our amounts we got to plug in. So it tells us inside of here what we need. We're going to go ahead and move over to the cockpit, where we've put in our 75 gallons, we've got our weight, we've got our payload, and still there's something weird in the way that air hauler is calculating weights, because I enter the values, a payload of 1100. That includes the weight of the pilot and this cargo weight, and then I put in the 70 gallons of fuel and we get 3815. That puts us over. So we're going heavy at first. So yeah, it's a little bit strange. Display fuel as weight, 420 pounds. Well, we're gonna go with that anyway, and hopefully get ourselves into our cockpit. We are now loaded in the aircraft and we are good to go.
Welcome to your air hauler flight. Start up and taxi.
Not a problem. As always, get our yokes out of the way. Prop is full. Okay, batteries go on. Fuel pump goes on. Parking brake is on. And prime it. And fuel pump goes off. Alright, let's look outside just because it's nice for once. And clear prop. Nice. We go ahead and get the avionics master on. And jumping back inside of our cockpit. Now, come on. There we go. And 70 gallons cross-check in both of our panels. Well, we know where we're going. So for now, let's see if KL15 does not show up in this database. 015, Turlock Municipal does. Perfect. That is where we are going. We've got our fuel, we've got everything we need. So if we actually do PDZ Palm LHS, so insert a 4, PDZ Paradise, then Palm, and then insert before LHS. So now when we go to our map, that'll take us up and around, and that will bypass us around the corner of the Bravo airspace. Cool. So there we can see that Daisy's almost here, so that's pretty cool. So we're going to go back to our main view, but it's pretty cool to see. So we're going to depart. Going to go ahead and get out of here. Tower, departing 29. Let's go ahead and make sure landing light on, taxi light goes off. Flaps are set. And let's get on the runway, line up. Okay, wind is coming from the right. Let's get her set. Power is set. Feet are on the floor. We'll go heading select. We want to get up to at least 2,000. Stay on that center line. Oh. Something happened. All right, let's go ahead outside. Aren't we going outside? There we are, and gears going up. Climbing to 94. Flaps can also go up. And back inside we go.
En route, fly this sector and land at your destination.
Establishing a nice climb. Okay, so let's go ahead and power back to 25. And bring our prop back. go. Switch to our localizer. Might as well put that yaw dampener on, save our feet. Nice picturesque view. Well, don't see Daisy off our wingtip, but she's definitely there, and she could be in the clouds. All right, well, might as well go up to 9,500.
Next level. Next level.
Well, we are over the field. Gonna go mixture rich, pull the throttle way back. And we are gonna go ahead and drop the gear now. Take out the yaw dampener. And we'll just forward slip our way down. Pick a hole so that we can punch through. Oh, don't exceed that. Oh, 155, almost in trouble. We can still see the ground though, so that keeps us legal. Still VFR. That did not put us through the hole. That put us into the cloud. Not good. Very dangerous. Especially considering we were rolling. Okay. Come on. Are we really in the cloud this long? Yikes. Oh well. Rate one turn. There we go. Okay, now we're into our little pocket. Come on, stay out of that cloud. Get that nose down. Don't exceed the gear speed. A little bit bumpy out here. Landing light should have been on. So, looks like we'll enter the left-hand downwind. And we're going to go ahead and turn base. Okay, let's land this together. Put your hands on. There you go. Atta girl. Yep. All right, little one. Let's land together, okay? That's right. Hold on to that yoke. Aiming for the runway. Oh, don't move! We're landing!
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh. Okay, bad idea.
Landed. Taxi and park. Landing
Ooh.
was smooth.
Thanks for the help. Alright, so
Alt-tab back to air hauler to offload/load cargo and fuel. A recommends closing FSX between flights/jobs.
there it recommended. So here we are back in air hauler. Let's go ahead and unload. Click OK. And we will finish flight monitoring. Okay, well, let's jump to company info. You can see the ups and the downs and the spiggles and the drops. We know that we dropped one. Now, when we look at our fleet, so Daisy is on her way back to KDAG. Now, she's assigned to this one job, and so she has to do it as a whole, which kind of sucks. It would have been nice to have been able to freeze her and then looked at other available routes to maybe had her take something out somewhere before then going to, KDAG to then come back. But all in all, for now, I guess we can be happy that we have come to the end of episode 29 in our air hauler series. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and come see us on the next one. Thanks a lot.